The throne room of the Crythian Empire stretched like a cathedral of bone and steel, its vaulted ceiling lost in shadows that seemed to swallow light itself. Emperor Zarthuk reclined on his obsidian seat, his forearms draped lazily across the armrests, while his compound eyes studied the two humans standing before him with barely concealed amusement. John stood at attention, his weathered face betraying nothing despite the ache in his prosthetic leg. Beside him, Elsa kept her hands clasped behind her back, her jaw set tight. They had been summoned here after 3 months of captivity, their ship seized at the border of Crythian space under accusations of trespassing. "Humans," Zarthux's voice rumbled through the chamber, translated by the neural implants forced upon them. "You claim the vessel in our impound bay belongs to you? The Defiant Spirit?" "It does, Your Imperial Majesty," John replied, his voice steady. "We're registered merchants from the Terran Coalition. We have documentation." A ripple of clicking laughter cascaded through the assembled Crythian nobles. Zarthuk raised one clawed hand for silence. "Documentation? How quaint. Tell me, veteran, yes, I know what you are. How does a crippled soldier and what are you, girl? A mechanic? How do you afford a ship with military-grade fusion drives and hull plating that predates your coalition?" Elsa's eyes flashed. "I'm an engineer, and we bought her legally at auction. Decommissioned military surplus." "Surplus," Zarthu repeated, tasting the word. "The Crythian Empire has been expanding for 6,000 cycles. We have conquered 412 species. In all that time, no race has ever been foolish enough to sell their warships to civilians." He leaned forward, mandibles spreading in what might have been a grin. "Except humans. We believe in second chances," John said quietly. "For ships and for people." The Emperor's laughter boomed across the hall. "Second chances? How delightfully naive. Here is my proposition, humans. Your ship sits in Bay 17, fully fueled, fully armed. If you can start her engines and escape our orbital station, she's yours. You leave with our blessing and your lives." John and Elsa exchanged glances. "And if we can't?" Elsa asked. "Then the ship becomes property of the Empire, as does everything aboard her, including your freedom." Zarthux's eyes glittered. "We've had our best engineers examining her for weeks. The security systems are impressive. Biometric locks, quantum-encrypted command codes, AI core with neural binding. They've been unable to breach even the airlock." He gestured dismissively. "If you can start her, she's truly yours. If not, well, our arena can always use new entertainers." John felt Elsa tense beside him, but he kept his expression neutral. "We accept your terms, Your Majesty." "Excellent," Zarthu clapped his forehands together. "Guards, escort them. And do send me a live feed. I do so enjoy watching humans fail." Bay 17 was a massive cavern carved from the asteroid that housed the Crythian station. The Defiant Spirit sat cradled in docking clamps like a predator caught mid-leap, her scarred hull a patchwork of repairs from a dozen encounters. She was small by military standards, a Terran corvette that had seen action in the Proxima campaign 40 years ago. To John, she was beautiful. A dozen Crythian guards flanked them, weapons ready. Floating cameras tracked their every movement. Somewhere, John knew, the Emperor was watching. "Nice of them to fuel her," Elsa muttered as they approached the airlock. "They're confident," John replied. He placed his palm on the biometric scanner. Nothing happened. He tried again. Still nothing. From the speakers overhead, Zarthux's voice crackled with amusement. "Having trouble, veteran? Perhaps your ship doesn't recognize her master anymore. How long has it been since you've flown her?" John ignored him. He leaned close to Elsa and whispered, "Plan B." Elsa nodded. She pulled a small multi-tool from her pocket. The guards had searched them but missed the innocuous device. She pried open the panel beside the airlock and exposed the manual override. "This is going to be loud," she warned. "Do it!" Elsa cross-wired 2 circuits. Sparks flew, and the airlock groaned open with a pneumatic hiss. Alarms began wailing throughout the bay. "Clever," Zarthux admitted. "But that was the easy part. The ship herself remains locked. Her AI won't respond without proper authentication, and her engines won't fire without—" His voice cut off as John and Elsa stepped into the airlock and sealed it behind them. The inner door opened onto the Defiant Spirit's main corridor, bathed in emergency red lighting. "Computer," John said calmly. "Command override, Baker 77 Tango. Authorization, Lieutenant Commander John Chen, service number 2847 Delta, emergency reactivation protocol." Silence. Then a soft, feminine voice filled the corridor. Voice pattern recognized. Biometric authentication. Failed. Neural pattern. Analyzing. A pause that stretched like eternity. "Commander Chen, you've aged. 30 years retired will do that to you, Spirit. And you brought a guest. Welcome aboard, Engineer Petrov." Elsa grinned. "Good to see you too, girl." "Impossible!" Zarthux's voice exploded through the station's comm system. "The biometric scan failed. How?" "The scan failed," John called back as he and Elsa raced toward the bridge. "Because I'm not the same person I was when I commanded this ship. Biometrics change. But the Spirit doesn't just read fingerprints and retinal patterns, Your Majesty. She reads memories, neural patterns, emotions." He dropped into the captain's chair, his hands flying across the controls while Elsa powered up the engines. "She knows her crew, not by what we look like, but by who we are." The fusion drives ignited with a roar that shook the entire bay. Docking clamps shattered like twigs. "You actually built loyalty into your AI?" Zarthux sounded genuinely baffled. "Why?" Elsa looked up from her console, her face illuminated by the glow of awakening systems. "Because we're human, Emperor. We don't just build tools, we build relationships." The Defiant Spirit tore free from her moorings, shields flaring to life as station weapons opened fire. John's hands moved with muscle memory 40 years old, weaving through the defensive barrage like he'd never left the cockpit. "All hands," the ship's AI announced cheerfully. "Prepare for emergency jump. Coordinates locked. Welcome home, Commander." The last thing the Crithian Emperor saw before the feed cut out was the Defiant Spirit vanishing in a flash of blue-white light, leaving nothing but scorched dock and shattered pride. In the empty bay, the silence spoke louder than any laughter ever could. End.